Hello, my name is Sandy Leith. I'm the Director of Services at Algoma Family Services. This television series features many of the extraordinary services at Algoma Family Services. I hope you enjoy this show. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Emily Tremblay and I'll be your host for this segment. Today I'm joined by Algoma, the CEO of Algoma Family Services. Welcome, Ali.
Thank you, Emily.
So can you tell us a little bit about what Algoma Family Services is?
For sure. You know, Algoma Family Services is many things to many people. We're a multi-service agency. It's funded and regulated by government and governed by a voluntary board of directors. We have over 22 different programs, which is really exciting. And I'll share with you just some of the scope of services. Most people would think of AFS as a child and youth mental health service, but we're actually more than that. We provide telemental health service, youth justice, youth addictions, student nutrition, supervised access. We have a whole host of family violence programs and counseling that we provide, and we're also an employee assistance provider.
And so do you have locations across Algoma?
We do. Algoma Family Services is district-wide. We have an office in Wawa, we have an office in Blind River, Elliott Lake, we have space in Thessalon, and we have 2 offices right here in Sault Ste. Marie.
So you must have a number of employees.
We do. You know, the exciting thing, I've been here 3 years now, we've been growing. And so we're about 120 employees right now with a budget of $9.5 million.
Today's segment, we are featuring the Rebound program. So Ali, can you tell us a little bit more about the Rebound program?
Sure. You know, our Rebound program is a really exciting program. It's for youth 12 to 18 years of age. We run it 3 times a year, spring, fall, and winter. And you know, what's really cool about this program is that it's run by volunteers. We have a couple of staff that help coordinate that, but it's really our volunteers that serve as what we call table coaches, that work with the young people to help learn really important social skills, like how to make good decisions. You know, the volunteers use their own life experiences, which brings so much value to that group. And you know, what's really neat is that some of those relationships last long after that 10-week period, whether it's the youth themselves that are still connected or youth to the adults. And so it's one of our really important programs that we run, but it's one of our more exciting programs because it offers so much potential for these young people to really grow in the relationships with adults that are not counselors, but are people out in the community. And we think that's really cool. The other thing about that program that we would want you to know is that it is funded by the Northeast LIN, and we're really appreciative of that ongoing funding.
Great. Let's take a look.
Rebound North is a skill building program for youth in grades 7 or 8 or in high school grades 9 to 12. They come to group to learn life skills and social skills, so things like communication, decision making, goal setting.
It gives them skills that helps them to communicate, to make good decisions, and to just be the best version of themselves that they can be.
The way I would explain the program to a youth would be to tell them that it's a great opportunity to improve the skills that they have in living, in communicating, in setting goals, in learning about drugs and alcohol, and making decisions. Decision making is a huge part of the Rebound program as it relates to drugs and alcohol, as well as it relates to a lot of life choices. So I would tell them that it's an opportunity to learn some skills that I wish that I could have learned when I was a teenager.
I would describe the Rebound program as a wonderful opportunity for the youth. We are able to teach them life skills and answer a lot of questions that they may not ask other adults. And I think it's really great for their self-esteem.
The Rebound North program is a replication of a program from Sarnia-Lambton Rebound. The Life Choices programs are for elementary and middle school students, where they learn about social skills and bullying, things like that. And the Choices program is for intermediate and high school aged youth, where the focus is more on substance refusal and relationships, especially as it relates to substance use.
The funding for the Rebound North program comes primarily from the Northeast Local Health Integration Network, or the LINS, which is funding from the Ministry of Health under the drug treatment program.
We offer groups 3 times a year in the fall, winter, and spring. We offer community groups for anybody to be referred to. We also offer school groups. So we go right into the schools and take classrooms. We partner with all schools in the Algoma district.
So Rebound North, while we offer programs in the school, our evening and community groups are run here at the Rebound North Center at Etienne-Brûlé Community School. And we have our own space. It's decorated and designed for the program, and it works very well.
So a referral can come from anywhere. We can get referrals from parents and guardians. We can get referrals from school counselors, teachers, principals, doctors. We get referrals from police and probation. Anybody can, and we get self-referrals. We get youth who just hear about it on the radio and want to participate. Referrals can come from in our own agency, Algoma Family Services.
It's for everybody. I mean, it's aimed at children or youth, grades 7 to 12, but it's for everybody. Everyone who's involved with it experiences it in a different way and on a different level. It changes the community because it is at the grassroots. So the changes that the youth are able to make in the program, they carry that with them into their everyday involvement in school, at home, out in the community doing other things. And they see the value of volunteering, which I think helps them as they get older. They might think about doing that themselves.
It's down.
But it's for everyone.
A girl's name starting with P. Pasha. I think you both get one.
We have a base of volunteers. And the volunteers come in, we provide training, they act as table coaches. So when the youth come into the room, there are always adults to anchor the programs.
We go to the groups every week and we sit at the tables with the youth and listen as the material is presented, and then we sort of help them along with keeping discussions going and talking about their feelings, and we have the opportunity to share our life experiences and things that about the topics that we've felt we've been able to impact our lives, the lives of our teenagers, and give them a bit of advice of life lessons, basically, of what of how we've experienced the topics that we're discussing.
Every week we have a different topic. For example, one week we did alcoholism, where the kids were able to put on the drunk goggles and try and follow a path that they couldn't follow, so they had an idea of what it's like to be drinking, and walking or possibly driving a car wouldn't be safe. So that they really like that. It
can be very interesting. Some of the youth are very vocal and others don't want to talk. So part of our job also is to try and get the ones who are quiet to share and get as much out of the program as they can.
The adults are there as a friend, as an adult friend, not necessarily as a teacher or a parent or anything else. They're there as an adult friend who wants to be there to support and help.
Okay guys, we're gonna do our next activity. Can I get you over at this table?
I would first say to someone that wanted to become a volunteer is you have to like children. You have to like the kids. If you're gonna get frustrated, it's not for you. You need to be calm and open and just support them, and they feel more confident and they continue to grow till the end of the program.
So what I'm going to have you do is you have to recreate this tower. Exactly. So 4 on the bottom, 3 on the next level, then 2, then 1. The trick to this game though, the problem with it is there are rules. So you're not allowed to touch the cups with any parts of your body, even if they fall on the floor. You can only use the material that I've given you on the table.
So if you wanted to volunteer for the program, you would contact our staff. They would talk to you, you would fill out an application form. It comes through our Human Resources Department, but we do have an application process, and you do have to have a police check done to make sure that you're a safe person to be around the youth. But anyone who is interested in volunteering, we welcome questions and application. We want to make sure that the group is the right fit for the volunteer. So we do a lot of talking and a lot of conversing with people. And then we have a training program for the volunteers as well to make sure that they are comfortable and they feel like it's a good fit for them.
Okay, it's a race. So ready, set, go. go.
So we do also rely on donations, and if anyone's interested in making a donation, it would come through the Algoma Family Services Foundation, which is located at 205 McNabb Street.
When the youth first come into a meeting the first night, they're nervous. Some of them don't want to be there. Others are anxious for the opportunity to learn and to improve themselves. So the ones who have embraced it already seem to just kind of keep an even keel and make friends, of course, with the group and with ourselves as well. But I've found that the ones who don't want to be there think it's another classroom where they're going to be taught stuff and they have to sit and listen and not really be able to participate. And they find that, and most of them find that we are talking about things that are of interest to them and that can help them with their lives. So a lot of them do become very interested and involved as the weeks go on.
We help them learn and develop skills through various mediums. So we do things like poster building, skits, we play the Wii during alcohol week, and we get up and move a lot, we do fun activities. We build things with Legos and build towers with straws and popsicle sticks. And they're not only learning skills here, it's a safe space for them to practice them as well. Hey guys, we're going to use the impaired goggles and play Mario Kart to show you the dangers of drinking and driving. So let's remember that the impaired goggles impair only our vision, not our brains and our reflexes the way actual alcohol would.
What can you expect? Excitement, fun, learning, safety. It's always a safe space. Staff work really hard to make, and volunteers work very hard to make sure that it's a safe space, that youth are comfortable, they know that they don't have to talk right away, there's no pressure. So as a youth, it's a pretty safe way to start to learn new social skills and learn how to just engage with whoever is around you at any given time.
As the youth go through the sessions, I find every week there's something new. Either they're smiling more, or they're making more eye contact, or they're volunteering for things. And I find over the 10 weeks, by the end, they're a totally different kid. And that's why I volunteer, because I get that back.
Okay guys, you're gonna try with the impaired goggles, you're gonna try to play catch with one another.
I love it because I think it's life-changing. I really do think, I know it's life-changing. Youth have come back and said, you know, at the end of the group or a couple of years later, we'll come back and say, it was a great experience. It changed my life. It helped me to do things differently and better. And the volunteers themselves also come forward and say, this changes my life. We have people who have been with the program over 10 years and have volunteered every round. So once you're hooked, once you've experienced, it's an experience. So once you've experienced it, you don't really want to go away unless you really have to. It's life-changing for everybody. It's been life-changing for me as a manager too, because I see the changes. It's exciting. It's hands-on. It's got good values. It's a well-grounded program.
One of the wonderful things for me is watching the growth of the kids having the self-confidence by the end of the program. They all do that, and it's wonderful to see them week to week doing a little more, sharing a little more, volunteering, talking, and they all do that really, really well.
If we have 15 youth in a group and we see huge growth in 2, I consider that a good day. Seeing youth who came in talking about not believing in themselves and then leaving with a little bit more positive self-regard, that makes me happy. And hearing the feedback from the parents in the schools about the impact that Rebound's had on the youth. It's
rewarding for us. We find that the youth are appreciative and they let us know that.
Yes. You did it!
The Algoma Family Services Foundation is the only foundation that supports the mission of Algoma Family Services and their programs through multiple fundraisers in support of children and youth mental health programs.
The relationship between the Algoma Family Services Foundation and Algoma Family Services is a really important one. Since its establishment in 1994, the foundation has helped AFS provide a number of services, such as our psychology assessments, in a way we might not otherwise be able to do without the foundation's support.
In order for us to provide funding to Algoma Family Services, we run multiple major fundraisers throughout the year. One of those major fundraisers is the Great Escape Dream Draw, which takes place every spring with the draw happening in May. It gives our community the opportunity to support the foundation as well as earning a chance to win a large sum of money or a brand new truck and trailer. Another of our major fundraisers is the Golf for Kids tournament, which just finished taking place. It's a wonderful day where the community can come out, enjoy a round of golf, some great prizes, some delicious food, mingle with each other, and all supporting the efforts of children's mental health.
So the foundation has contributed approximately just over $1 million since its inception in 1994. With that money, we support a number of different programs, such as our group programs. We use the foundation funding to purchase our program supplies, our crisis follow-up that's allowed us to provide a level of service that we might not otherwise be able to, and also with our psychology assessments, which is a big one. Approximately over 20 assessments a year are paid for by the foundation fund.
The Algoma Family Services Foundation is led primarily by a group of board of directors, including our new chair, Mr. Sonny Spina, and one of our longtime board members, Mr. Jim Best.
Back in the early days, the foundation started with a large grant from one of the, I guess I'd say, clients of Judge Derek Holder back before I started, and that's back before '94. And it was, I think, in the terms of about $1 million. And from there, we were to use that money for servicing for the foundation that didn't get picked up by the government. However, as time went on, we realized that we just couldn't use that money. It was quickly depleting and had to come up with some other ideas in terms of keeping that money going.
Golf tournaments are a great fundraiser as they allow the community to come out and support the charity of their choice, but it's also an opportunity for them to enjoy a fun day outdoors, playing a game that they enjoy, and spending time with family, friends, or co-workers.
Over the years, we used different events to try to bolster up our money. Things like Savvy Seconds, which was a used clothing thing for the women. Of course, our Dream Draw, which was an instant success way back when. And along the while, about, I don't know, I can't remember how many years we've had the tournament, but a group of retired teachers led by Bob Pratt and boys put together a group to look at putting together a tournament, which started as a very small thing, but has since grown into a wonderful fundraiser for our foundation. And I think I've played in that since day one.
If the foundation did not donate funds, we'd be really in a difficult situation. We've had over a 22% increase in demand for service over the last 5 years. And with that increase in service, we haven't had an equal increase in support in terms of government funding. So the foundation fills a really important gap. Not completely, but without it, there would be even more children waiting for service and even more children waiting to get a psychology assessment.
Days like today are an example of why we do what we do. We want to thank the community for coming out to support us and just let them know that all of the funds stay local to help support Algoma Family Services through their children's mental health programs.
So we chatted briefly in the past about our strategic plan, which was launched in October 2016. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to update our viewers on what's occurred.
Well, thanks, Emily. You know, we were really excited when we launched that strategic plan back in October 2016, and we still remain excited because we've had some really great results in delivering on some of our strategic priorities. But let me just walk you through that again. Our new vision is really about inspiring hope and wellness. And that vision statement was something that resonates across the organization. As I shared with you, we've had, at that time, 21 different programs. We now have 22 programs direct service programs, and then we have our non-direct services. So it's really 28 altogether. But we needed something that unifies us all together, and Inspiring Hope and Wellness is that unifying vision. It doesn't matter if you are in our administration office, or whether you're in our community kitchen, or whether you're a counselor at our walk-in counseling service. The end game, so to speak, is really trying to promote hope and wellness. Our mission statement is together we'll improve access to our extraordinary services. And over the course of our conversations, we've talked about how we are actually delivering on that, whether it be the CAPC, CPNP, whether it's the coalition, that consortium that we have with the walk-in counseling service. We've really developed some strong partnerships with our community that allows us to expand our access to services. So our strategic priorities there were 4, right? And the first one was awesome team, second one was extraordinary services, the third one busting barriers, and the fourth one inspiring outreach. So let me just share with you really quickly about some of the great things that have happened since we last chatted about that. Perfect. With awesome team, what we're really excited about is that we've been able to add to our team just this year the Community and Leap Kitchens program. And that program allows us really to expand our reach, because what we do appreciate is that the underpinning for mental health is really good nutrition. And so knowing that children and their families are learning things around how to shop for healthy food, how to prepare healthy food, and actually be able to take healthy food back home is a big deal for us, because, you know, when we talk about things like mood regulation, food plays a big part of that. Attention in school, again, food plays a big part in that. So that's just an example of how we've been building on our awesome team. We've also made big investments in what's called brief narrative therapy. And that brief narrative therapy has allowed us to provide the walk-in single session counseling service. And this is probably the first time that we're going to share publicly what we've been doing when it comes to our extraordinary services priority. We've introduced a new program. It's called Single Therapy Session. And what that means is that when you come to AFS and you're looking for service, before you would have to wait potentially 3 to 6 weeks for an intake appointment. And that intake appointment basically would mean that you would come talk to an intake worker and spend the next hour or so really identifying what is bringing you to AFS. Well, with the single therapy session, you're given the option of either going through a regular intake or meeting with 2 of our counselors and having what's referred to sort of as a brief session. Here's the remarkable thing about that, Emily, is that our intake wait list has been reduced by over 60% since the introduction of the single therapy session. And we're really excited about that, because it means people aren't having to wait as long for services. So, you know, I did talk to you about the value proposition at AFS, the right service, the right time, right place, right location. Well, you know, we're delivering large in that way, and I'm really excited about that, because people aren't having to wait as long for that service. So between the walk-in counseling service and the single therapy sessions, we've really been able to reduce our wait times significantly. When it comes to busting barriers, you know, I talked about that single therapy session as an extraordinary service, but it also represented a huge shift and change in our service delivery model. And we are excited because we're going to be launching that publicly and letting people know about that. We've been piloting it for the last year just to see how effective that particular program will be. But, and it has shown us big time that it's been really successful. So it is an example of how we busted a barrier. And one of those barriers is actually the time that it takes to get service. That's one area. We also recently hired an Indigenous outreach counselor, and that is another barrier that we have broken in terms of making sure that our services are easily accessible by not only our non-Indigenous people, but by our Indigenous communities. And we're excited by that, because we're having a different relationship, one that's been long overdue, and we've seen a lot of great things come of that. Our inspiring outreach, which is our fourth priority, well, you may have heard of the Shadows of the Mind Film Festival. We've been a big sponsor of that. And it's one way in which we can share with the community really the work that AFS is doing, but also promoting awareness with respect to mental health. For the last 2 years, we've been sponsoring 2 films at that film festival. Also, the Summer Shadows film series is something that AFS and our walk-in counseling partners have supported. And that means that for 4 weeks over the summer, for free, there's a movie in Bellevue Park that families can come and see. Over 800 people have come to see those movies, and that's exciting for us because it's another form of outreach. That priority is really about sharing with the community who we are and what we do. And that's actually been showing some really significant and tangible results in the form of either increased donations to AFS, people actually coming to receive service from AFS. And so we're really pleased with the work that's happening there. By no means are we done. That strategic plan is there until 2021. But we're really inspired by the work that's happened thus far. And it goes to show organizations what can happen when you have a really good strategic plan to drive the organization.
Wow, that sounds like you've been really busy, and it sounds like we have lots to look forward to going forward.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being with us today, Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
I hope you've enjoyed the show today and learned more about the great services at Algoma Family Services. If you'd like to learn more, please check us out on our Facebook page or give us a call. Thank you.